You already know deep inside that you were not put on this earth to settle. You were not born to drift through life, doing just enough to survive, waiting for something outside of you to make it better. The truth is, everything you need to achieve greatness is already inside you. The problem isn't capability, it's belief. It's that quiet voice in your head that whispers, maybe I'm not enough, maybe I'll fail, maybe it's too late. But I'm telling you right now, those doubts are lies, and they are stealing your future. Every single person who has ever built an extraordinary life had to start with belief. They had to believe when no one else believed. They had to look at impossible odds and say, I don't care what the world thinks, I'm not stopping until I win. That's the power of belief. Belief is not some fluffy idea. Belief is the fuel that drives your actions, the force that pushes you when the pain is unbearable, the anchor that holds you steady when the storms of life try to knock you down. Without it, you quit at the first obstacle. With it, you'll walk through fire. Think about the goals you've been carrying in your heart. Maybe you've told no one about them. Maybe you've buried them under excuses, convincing yourself you'll get to them someday. Someday is a lie. The only time you have is now, and if you don't believe in yourself right now, those goals will remain nothing more than daydreams. Belief turns someday into today. Belief turns the invisible into reality. But here's the catch: belief is not just repeating affirmations or wishing. Belief comes from action. You don't wait until you feel confident to start. You start, and confidence grows because you're proving to yourself that you can. You conquer small goals, and suddenly the bigger ones don't feel impossible anymore. You build evidence, you stack victories, and soon you've reprogrammed your mind to know, not just hope, that you are unstoppable. Success is not about talent alone. Plenty of talented people fail because they never believe enough to keep going when it gets hard. Success is about hunger. It's about refusing to back down when the world says no. It's about deciding, this is my life, this is my dream, and I will not stop until it's mine. That's the kind of belief that moves mountains. I want you to imagine your future for a moment. The life you crave, the freedom, the impact, the joy. It's there waiting for you, but it won't come to you by chance. It will come because you stood up, declared what you wanted, and believed in yourself enough to chase it with everything you've got. And yes, you will face setbacks. You will face rejection. You will face days when nothing seems to work. But if you believe in yourself truly and deeply, you'll keep pressing forward until the breakthrough comes. Because success doesn't belong to the smartest. It doesn't belong to the most gifted. It belongs to the most committed. It belongs to the ones who believe even when no one else does. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Believe in yourself now. Step into your power now. Take relentless action toward your goals now. And when you do, you won't just achieve success. You will conquer it. Belief is the foundation of achievement, and everything you have ever wanted, every dream that has kept you awake at night, every vision that pulls at your heart, starts with the simple yet profound choice to believe in yourself. Without belief, the most extraordinary potential in the world goes unused. You could have the talent of a champion, the intelligence of a genius, the creativity of an innovator. But if you don't believe in your ability to use those gifts, they remain locked inside you, gathering dust, never reaching the world, never creating the life you desire. Belief is what turns raw potential into tangible results, and it is the bridge between what you are capable of and what you actually accomplish. When you believe in yourself, you send a message to your mind, to your body, and even to the world around you that you are ready, that you are capable, that you are worthy of success. And that conviction transforms the way you act, the way you carry yourself, the decisions you make, and the persistence you bring into every challenge. Most people underestimate the power of belief because they think it's just a feeling, a light idea in the mind. But belief is not just mental. It is energy. It is a state of certainty that radiates through your entire being. Think of the athletes who push past limits no one thought were possible. The entrepreneurs who build empires from scratch, the artists who redefine culture, what did they have before success came? They had belief. Long before the medals, the companies, or the recognition, they carried an unshakable certainty that they could make it happen. That belief became fuel, and that fuel pushed them through the endless hours of training, the sleepless nights of hard work, the countless rejections and failures. Belief is what kept them moving when logic screamed to quit, when the world doubted, when their own mind was tempted to fall into fear. Belief is also contagious. When you believe in yourself, others begin to believe in you. People feel it. They are drawn to the energy of someone who is certain, someone who radiates conviction. That's why leaders inspire followers. That's why visionaries attract teams. That's why confident individuals open doors to opportunities others can't even see. Belief creates a magnetic field that pulls resources, people, and circumstances into alignment. Without it, even the greatest opportunities can slip through your fingers because you won't have the courage to step into them fully. With belief, you can turn the smallest chance into something extraordinary because you approach it with the mindset of someone who expects to win. But belief doesn't mean you will never feel fear or doubt. It means you choose to act in spite of those feelings. The human mind will always try to protect you by whispering what could go wrong, by warning you of potential failure, by trying to keep you in the comfort zone. Belief is the decision to override that voice to say, I hear you, but I'm going anyway. And the more you practice this, the stronger your belief becomes. Each time you step forward despite the fear, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your doubts. Each small win adds another layer of evidence to yourself, belief, until it becomes unshakable. You don't need the whole world to believe in you. You just need you. Think about that for a second. How often do people wait for validation, wait for approval, wait for someone else to say, yes, you can, but you don't need permission to rise. Belief is a decision you make every single day when you wake up. It's a choice to trust yourself, to trust your vision, and to trust that whatever challenges come your way, you will find a way through them. Belief is the root of resilience, the seed of persistence, the foundation that supports every achievement you will ever create. Without it, you will crumble under pressure. With it, you will bend but never break. Belief is the silent power behind every breakthrough. It is what allows ordinary people to do extraordinary things. It is what turns impossible into possible. It is what transforms a dreamer into a doer. And the moment you decide to believe in yourself fully, not halfway, not sometimes, but completely and unconditionally, that moment becomes the turning point of your life. That moment is when you stop letting fear dictate your destiny and start taking control of it. Action creates confidence, and this is one of the most misunderstood truths about success. People wait around for confidence as if it's some magical state that will suddenly appear one morning, and only then will they be ready to take the leap, start the project, or pursue the dream. But the reality is, confidence does not come first. Action does. Confidence is the byproduct of movement, of doing, of proving to yourself that you are capable. When you take action, even when you're uncertain, even when you feel unprepared, you create momentum. That momentum builds evidence, and evidence builds belief, and belief grows into unshakable confidence. Waiting for confidence is the surest way to remain stuck, but deciding to act despite your uncertainty is the key to breaking free. Think about a child learning to walk. They don't wait until they feel confident enough to take their first step. They just go for it. They wobble, they fall, they cry, they get back up, and eventually they walk. And once they walk, they never doubt their ability again. Why? Because they acted first and proved through experience that they could do it. That's how confidence is born, in the doing, not in the waiting. Adults forget this simple truth and convince themselves they need more preparation, more resources, more reassurance. But all they really Need is action because confidence is not given, it is earned. When you act, even in the smallest way, you send a powerful message to your brain, I can handle this. That message rewires how you see yourself. It shifts your identity from someone who hesitates to someone who executes. Each action, no matter how small, becomes a brick in the foundation of your confidence. Over time, those bricks stack higher and higher until they create a fortress that nothing can knock down. But if you never act, you never lay the first brick, and then you wonder why you still feel unsure. There is no such thing as the perfect moment to begin. People tell themselves they will start when they feel ready, but readiness is an illusion. If you wait until every condition is ideal, you'll be waiting forever. The people who achieve the most aren't the ones who had everything figured out from the beginning. They are the ones who started messy, who stumbled, who failed, but who kept moving. And with each step, their confidence grew, not because they suddenly discovered certainty, but because they built it through consistent action. Confidence built through action is stronger than any kind of artificial motivation. Reading books, watching videos, repeating affirmations, these things can spark inspiration, but they cannot replace the inner certainty that comes from doing. Only when you step into the arena, when you take risks, when you test yourself in the real world, do you earn the kind of confidence that stays with you no matter what. It becomes a part of you, unshakable, because it's not based on theory, it's based on proof you've created with your own hands. And here's the powerful part. The size of the action doesn't matter as much as the consistency of it. Too many people believe they have to take massive leaps to build confidence, but in reality, small consistent steps create more momentum than one giant leap followed by paralysis. Call the person, write the page, take the first class, show up to the gym. Each small step confirms to your brain that you are someone who takes action, and that identity becomes your new foundation. From there, bigger steps no longer feel impossible because you've already trained yourself to act. Action also has the power to silence fear. Fear feeds on inaction. The longer you wait, the louder it grows. But when you move, fear loses its grip. Action shrinks fear because it gives you something else to focus on. It gives you evidence. Suddenly, the story in your head shifts from I can't to I did. Fear thrives in imagination, but confidence thrives in reality. Action is the bridge that takes you out of your head and into real progress. When you look at the people you admire, the ones who exude confidence, understand that they weren't born that way. They acted, and through that action, they discovered strength. They acted, and through that action, they built resilience. They acted, and through that action, they rewrote the story of who they were and what they were capable of. You have the same ability. The only thing standing between you and that level of certainty is the choice to act now, not later, not when you feel like it, but now, because every action plants the seed of confidence that will grow into unstoppable momentum. Obstacles test your commitment, and they are the unavoidable checkpoints on the road to success. Too many people see obstacles as stop signs, as reasons to turn back, as proof that their dream is too difficult or that maybe it wasn't meant for them. But in truth, obstacles are not there to block you. They are there to reveal how much you truly want what you say you want. They are the measure of your hunger, the test of your resilience, the fire that forges your strength. Without obstacles, success would be meaningless because it would require no growth, no transformation, no evolution of who you are. Every obstacle is a mirror reflecting your commitment back to you, asking, are you willing to keep going? Are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to grow into the person who can hold this vision? The path to any goal worth chasing will never be smooth. You will encounter rejection, delays, failures, criticism, and setbacks that knock the wind out of you. You will be tempted to doubt yourself, to lower your standards, to accept less than you're capable of. That is the moment the obstacle is doing its job. It's asking you whether you are serious. If your commitment is shallow, if your desire is weak, that's when you quit. But if your commitment is deep, if your vision is non-negotiable, then the obstacle becomes fuel. It becomes the very reason you rise higher, dig deeper, push harder. The obstacle is not your enemy. It is the resistance that builds your muscle. Just like a body cannot grow stronger without weight to push against, Your character cannot grow stronger without obstacles to overcome. Most people fantasize about success as if it's a straight line from desire to achievement, but the reality is more like a storm. You move forward, you get knocked back, you adjust, you learn, and you keep moving, and in this process something incredible happens. You grow. You gain skills you didn't have before. You discover resilience you didn't know you possessed. You develop a level of persistence that becomes a part of your identity. The obstacle forces you to expand, to evolve, to become the kind of person who doesn't just achieve success once, but can sustain it, replicate it, and inspire others with it. Without the obstacle, you remain who you are. With the obstacle, you become who you must be. Every great story of achievement is filled with obstacles. Think about the inventors whose experiments failed hundreds of times before breakthrough came, the leaders who were ridiculed before they were celebrated, the visionaries who were told their dreams were impossible. What separated them from everyone else was not luck, not genius, not timing. It was commitment. It was the decision that no matter how many obstacles appeared, they would not stop. Their commitment burned brighter than the difficulty of the path, and because of that, they endured. Obstacles became proof of their seriousness. Every rejection letter, every failure, every disappointment was not the end but another step forward. They treated obstacles as training, as lessons, as necessary steps in the process of transformation. The truth is, you cannot control whether obstacles appear, but you can always control how you respond. You can choose to see them as barriers or as teachers. You can choose to be a victim of them or a student of them. The ones who conquer their goals choose the latter. They extract wisdom from every setback. They use obstacles as feedback, and they adapt until the breakthrough arrives. Every obstacle contains a lesson, and the faster you learn it, the faster you move through it. But when you resist, when you complain, when you wish for the obstacle to disappear, you miss the very opportunity it carries. Obstacles also strip away the inessential. They force you to focus on what matters most. When things are easy, it's tempting to be casual, to be distracted, to coast. But when the challenge intensifies, you must sharpen your focus, refine your priorities, and dig into the core of what truly matters. Obstacles simplify your path because they remove the luxury of wasted energy. They demand that you become efficient, disciplined, and intentional. In that refinement, your power grows. And perhaps the most valuable gift of obstacles is the story they give you. One day, when you achieve the success you are working toward, people will ask how you did it. Your story will not inspire because everything was easy, because doors opened without effort, or because you faced no challenges. Your story will inspire because of the obstacles you overcame. The very things you once thought were breaking, you will become the story that empower others. The obstacles that tested your commitment will be the same obstacles that make your success meaningful, not just to you, but to everyone who hears your journey. Hunger matters more than talent, and this is the truth that separates those who dream from those who achieve. Talent is a gift, but hunger is a decision. You can have all the talent in the world, you can be born with natural abilities that others admire, but if you are not hungry enough, if you are not willing to fight for what you want, that talent will remain wasted. Hunger is the relentless drive, the unshakable desire, the fire inside that refuses to be extinguished no matter how difficult the journey becomes. It is what pushes you to go further than your excuses, to rise above your comfort zone, to sacrifice in the short term for the sake of the long term. Talent may open the door, but hunger keeps you moving through it when others give up. Hunger is what wakes you up early and keeps you awake late. Hunger is what makes you study when others are relaxing, practice when others are distracted, and keep showing up when the crowd has already quit. Talent without hunger leads to wasted potential, but hunger without talent will eventually beat talent that is not applied, because hunger creates consistency, and consistency creates results. The world is filled with people who were gifted, who had all the skills, who could have been great, but they lacked hunger. They relied on talent and waited for success to fall into their lap, and when challenges came, when the road got tough, they disappeared. On the other hand, history is full of people who weren't the most talented, who weren't the most gifted, but their hunger was unstoppable. They refused to be denied, and because of that, they rose to levels that others only dreamed about. Hunger is not just about wanting something, it's about needing it. When you are hungry, you move with urgency, you refuse to accept mediocrity, you treat your goals as a must, not a maybe. That difference in mindset is everything. A person who treats success as a maybe will give up as soon as it gets uncomfortable. A person who treats success as a must will crawl if they have to, will fight through rejection, will endure setbacks, because quitting is simply not an option. Hunger creates a different standard of living. It refuses to tolerate excuses, laziness, or complacency. Hunger demands progress, and that demand reshapes your entire identity. The beautiful thing about hunger is that it can be cultivated. You don't have to be born with it. You create it by attaching deep meaning to your goals, by linking them to something bigger than yourself. When your vision is connected to your family, your purpose, your future, or even to the people you want to serve, your hunger multiplies. The more reasons you give yourself, the hungrier you become. Hunger is built by raising your standards, by refusing to settle for less than you know you are capable of. Hunger is sustained by reminding yourself daily of why you cannot stop, why you cannot turn back, why this mission matters too much to quit. Talent makes people comfortable. Hunger makes people unstoppable. Talent can make you arrogant. Hunger keeps you humble because hunger is tied to effort, not entitlement. When you are hungry, you know you must keep moving, keep growing, keep fighting. You don't rely on what you've done in the past. You focus on what still needs to be done. Hunger doesn't care about how much you've achieved already. It demands more. That's why people with hunger never plateau, never rest on yesterday's victories. They know that the minute hunger dies, growth dies with it. Hunger also changes the way you face challenges. For the person with talent but no hunger, obstacles are excuses to quit. For the person with hunger, obstacles are fuel. Setbacks don't weaken hunger, they intensify it. Hunger makes you resourceful, it makes you creative, it makes you find solutions others can't see because they don't have the same urgency driving them forward. Hunger makes you relentless. It makes you take rejection and turn it into motivation. It makes you face failure and see it as feedback. Hunger does not shrink in the face of adversity, it grows stronger. When people look at champions, they often assume it's talent that made them, but champions are built by hunger. Hunger is what keeps them practicing when no one is watching, preparing when no one cares, and pushing harder long after others have settled. Hunger is why they win consistently, because it fuels a level of effort that talent alone can never sustain. Talent can give you a head start, but hunger determines whether you cross the finish line. Your future depends on your decision today, and that is the truth most people run from because it forces them to face responsibility. Every choice you make right now is carving the direction of your life. The habits you practice, the risks you take, the excuses you allow, the standards you accept, all of them are building the future that will soon arrive. People love to say they want success, they want freedom, they want happiness, but when it comes to decisions, they postpone. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect opportunity, the perfect conditions, but perfection never comes. Life is shaped in the present moment, and what you decide today is what determines where you will be tomorrow. Every major transformation begins with a single decision. Decide to change your health, and you step onto the path of vitality. Decide to improve your finances, and you step onto the path of wealth. Decide to break through your fears, and you step onto the path of freedom. The decision itself is what matters most, because once the decision is made, the direction becomes clear. Indecision is the greatest thief of dreams. Indecision keeps people paralyzed, spinning in circles, watching years slip away while their goals remain locked inside them. The longer you delay, the heavier regret becomes, and regret is the one weight no one can escape. The decision today does not have to be enormous. It doesn't mean changing everything overnight. It means choosing to act, choosing to commit, choosing to step forward even if the step is small. Small decisions compound over time. The choice to exercise today leads to strength tomorrow. The choice to save today leads to financial freedom tomorrow. The choice to learn today leads to mastery tomorrow. Every great outcome is the result of countless small decisions made daily with consistency and intent. People overestimate what they can do in a day, but underestimate what they can do in a year, and the truth is, a year is simply 365 decisions stacked one after another. What holds most people back is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment. Fear of the unknown. They tell themselves they will decide later, when they are more prepared, when they have more money, when they feel more confident. But later is a trap. Later becomes next week, next month, next year, and eventually a lifetime. The only antidote to fear is action, and action comes from making a decision. Fear never goes away by thinking about it. It only goes away by proving to yourself through decisions and actions that you are stronger than it. When you understand the power of today's decision, you also begin to understand the cost of indecision. Every time you hesitate, you lose time you can never get back. Time is the most valuable currency you own, and once it is gone, it cannot be replaced. The opportunities you pass up today may never come back. The people you delay reaching out to may move on. The chances you ignore may vanish, and while you wait for the perfect moment, someone else who decided today is already running with the prize you wanted. Life does not reward hesitation. It rewards decisiveness. Great leaders, achievers, and innovators are not the ones who knew every detail before they acted. They are the ones who decided quickly, committed fully, and adjusted along the way. They understood that clarity comes through motion, not waiting. They made decisions today that others put off, and those decisions stacked into a future that looked extraordinary from the outside, but was simply the result of consistent, committed choices. The quality of your future is in direct proportion to the quality of your decisions today. If you make weak decisions, you will live with weak results. If you make bold decisions, you will live with bold results. That does not mean recklessness, but it does mean courage. Courage to bet on yourself, courage to pursue your vision, courage to cut off excuses and distractions and move forward with certainty. Every powerful future begins with someone who decided, here and now, that they would no longer accept less than they were capable of. Your future is not waiting for luck. It is not waiting for chance. It is waiting for your decision. The life you imagine, the success you crave, the impact you want to make. It all begins when you stop postponing and start choosing. Today is the day that matters because today is the only day you can control. Every tomorrow you dream of is built on the foundation of the choices you make right now.